Hello, I'm Richard Herring.
And I'm Abdul.
And this is Sight on Screen.
The show where we watch and discuss a movie that only one of us has seen before.
And for the first time in the show's long and illustrious history, you picked.
Yeah, and I picked something that I thought would be quite relevant now. It's, in, what do you say, like in...
In theme?
Yeah, in theme with the new releases that Disney are making right now.
Oh, yeah.
Which are, they're redoing all their classics.
Cartoon
classics. They're redoing them into live action.
All of them.
All of them.
God almighty.
Some of which are shot for shot, the identical movie, just live action.
The most useless of concepts, my God.
And we'll get into remakes.
We'll get in there.
And that was actually one of the reasons why I picked this movie specifically, because I wanted to talk a little bit about remakes and how there are remakes that are done bad, there are remakes that are pointless, and there are remakes that are done well.
Yeah, Disney's gone the whole gamut and done all three.
Yeah. And the latest one is Mulan.
Correct. Have you seen it yet?
What, the 2020?
Yeah, because I know I haven't, because at the time of recording, the cinema in our area, at least, is shut down.
Yeah, it hasn't been released yet.
No, when is it coming out?
It's postponed because...
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
I have not caught this. I haven't paid attention.
No, it's been postponed.
Oh, I thought it was only postponed here.
No, that James Bond has been postponed as well. Then there's one other release.
Good grief.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, and hopefully this is being released a little bit after the madness has passed, this is being recorded right in the middle of the Corona scare, really,
Yeah, COVID-19.
COVID-19, and we are very much right in the middle of it here in Norway, so yeah, the fact that we were even recording is...
It's a bit of a miracle.
Kind of a miracle at this point, really.
At this point, yeah. The streets are dead, to put it like that.
The streets are empty. It's 28 days out there.
Yeah, 28 days.
Yeah.
Good reference.
Thank you.
So yeah.
So what we watched is, because you haven't actually said it yet.
Yes, so what we've watched is Mulan, but not the Mulan that most of you would be familiar with.
Correct.
As a matter of fact, this is the 2009 live-action Chinese Mulan movie, in China referred to as Hua Mulan, which is her name.
So it is probably something very familiar to anyone who is listening, who is Chinese, or who is currently engaged in Chinese cinema, because it is a big film from China at the time of release.
Yeah, and this is, 2009. In English-speaking countries, it was released under the name of Mulan: Rise of a Warrior.
Yes.
It's a 2-hour war epic.
Yeah.
That...
A surprisingly restrained epic.
Surprisingly restrained. And it does something that I wasn't really expecting when I first saw it, which is that they just pretty much fast-forward through... the things that we would be familiar with.
We were literally watching it, we just watched it, and I'm sitting there, because I'm the one who hasn't seen it before, and I knew nothing about this movie going
deliberately.
in. I hadn't opened an IMDb page, I did no research. And we're sitting there, and we are maybe 10 minutes in, and I'm like, this is really going quickly. She's already in the army, and she's...
Yeah, they've already gone through the motions.
No training montage? No training montage. 15 minutes in, she's a general? It really was almost like whiplash. We have moved through that story so quickly.
And essentially because this is an extremely well-known legend in China.
Yep.
And it's one taught, from a very, very young age. And so they're familiar with the known history of Mulan.
Yeah, the origin story.
Yeah, the origin story. The fact that she went to war because instead of her father, who was sick, and she ended up basically progressing through the ranks, disguised as a male, and then being made general.
Yep.
And so the movie really starts after she's made general.
Yeah, that's all the lead up. Then she becomes general, and that's when the real plot, or I don't know what to call it plot, the main arc of the story kicks in. Let's call it that.
Yeah, and it's the focus of the movie is about the toll that war takes on someone.
Oh, yeah.
And also the benefits and disadvantages of emotions on the battlefield.
Yeah, now that's a big principle of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and it's it kind of goes back and forth, and then sort of lands on a very nice and slightly ambiguous in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing I will say is, I'm going to get this right out of the way, right off the bat. I think this is quite a bit better than the Disney version.
Yeah, to put it
I
lightly.
really do, and I gotta say,
And we're talking about the 1998 Disney
correct
cartoon, animated film,
the animated film,
because we still haven't seen the 2020.
We still haven't seen 2020.
And funny enough, just so that people are made aware, because of the original 1998 animated movie was received very poorly in China.
Shockingly,
due to the westernization the real fantasy elements that were added to it, and this is a legend that's very respected in that culture, and so seeing people, basically,
I'm sorry, let's just all take a moment and say, yeah, you know what this movie doesn't have? Eddie Murphy.
Although it does have something else, and that I'll get to that in the end of this podcast. Stay tuned.
You're going to keep me in suspense.
Oh yeah. Stay tuned. Stay tuned to the end, because there is something in this movie that is better than Eddie Murphy.
I thought we were going to talk about Tiger, but no. You're talking about the other thing.
I'm talking about the other thing. The guy in the movie named Godot.
Was that his name?
Yeah.
I thought it was Vita.
No, that's his actual name.
Oh.
Whatever. We'll get to it.
Moving on.
Tangent aside.
Tangent aside. No, that's not even a tangent. That's an upcoming.
Yeah. So, so stay tuned till the end for a major thing. Plot twist.
A thing I know nothing about, because you were like,
you will. You'll recognize it. Trust me.
Okay. I'm so confused. Anyway,
so what I was getting at was, so the 1998 animated film was received very poorly in China.
Oh yeah.
And so now with the live action, they've taken out a lot of these fantasy elements.
Oh yeah.
And they're trying to make a more accurate representation of the movie. Very much in the same vein as this film.
Yeah.
So they've kind of taken a lesson.
Well,
even though
you're talking about the new Disney one, right?
Yeah, the 2020.
You say that, however, I do know that one of the character posters features a woman identified as a witch.
Yeah.
So I suspect
Disney.
There's still Disney, so there's gonna be a little bit of something.
Yeah, and that's actually why, trying to cater to both markets has ended up in no one being happy, because people that really love the animated film are like, oh, where's all these cool elements that
where's my Mushu?
Yeah, where's my Mushu? And then people who are in the Chinese culture,
whose culture is being utterly wrecked.
Yeah, who was against the 1998 animated film, they're like, well, it's still not good enough. You're still like ruining our legends here.
Man.
So yeah, they kind of.
So I'm just gonna get this one off the bat though. Is I think, having watched the film, all the rest of it, the plot here isn't very relevant. It's a character's journey, and it is very much more her experience of everything and all the rest of it. So we'll be talking a little bit about moments here, certain characters.
Yeah, so there might be some mild spoilers ahead.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to make it a huge effort to try and canonically explain the plot. It's a war, a 12-year war. And
yeah, I think it's actually referred to as
it's called the 12-year war, and it's everything that comes along with it. So trying to
not to be confused with the 7-year war.
Different war.
Different war, different continent.
Here on Sight on Screen, we are careful to identify our wars. But yeah, no, I don't think we're going to make an effort to really go through the canonical step-by-step process of this, because it's kind of not the point. You know who Mulan is, you know what she's set up to do, and this is her war histories almost.
Essentially, yeah, the lesser-known parts of her history. So, and just to sort of, because we might get into some mild spoilers, because this is, like you were saying, it's not really plot-driven, it's more character-driven.
Oh, yeah.
And so if we start to really get into there, we might spoil a little bit of the of the magic of the movie. So before we go there, for those that are still interested in watching it, because I think we both
we recommend this completely.
Yeah, it's not a perfect movie by any means, but it is definitely an enjoyable one, and it's one that I think is a really well acted, well shot. The cinematography is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're interested in seeing the movie, you have both of our recommendations. Go watch it, and then come back and listen to the rest of the podcast if you want.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say is that...
To avoid spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those movies where it is the Chinese war epic. And China does some amazing war epics, but it's a slightly less intimidating version of it. It isn't Red Cliff. It's not 4 hours long. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it is a lot of the same kind of elements. It's not quite as fanciful as something like House of Flying Daggers or Crouching Tiger. So it's kind of a nice...
incredibly grounded.
It's very grounded. So just be aware of that going in, kind of... But it is approachable. It isn't very hard to follow, at least not for me.
No, it's
so
not.
I would say for Chinese cinema, it's quite an easy one for Western culture to kind of interpret and read, because it is so based in the drama, not in the minutiae.
Yeah, I would put it in the, like, if you're new to Chinese cinema, in the same way how Old Boy is sort of a good introduction into Korean cinema.
Korean cinema, yeah, completely.
Because it's easy to sort of, for Western audiences to get into. This is, I think this would be in the same vein, where this is an easy movie to get into sort of Chinese war epics and Chinese cinema in general. You
know which movie it reminded me of? Master and Commander.
Yeah.
It had a very kind of similar thing where it is a historical time period, and they've done you can really tell they've paid attention to the historical detail.
Oh yeah, there were thousands of extras on this movie.
Thousands of extras, the armor, the costuming, the fighting patterns. It's not,
even the way that the strategies that they were doing, like the war strategies, the way that they were fighting, the way that it was shot while they were fighting, very much in the same vein, I would think. Yeah,
but it's not getting super caught up in all that stuff, because it's kind of that's just a really nice dressing around a more character-driven study. Yeah. Much like Master and Commander, where it is so much minutiae and it's so much detail and it's so much historical accuracy.
Exactly.
But it's basing itself on just a character study of the captain of the ship.
Yeah, and this is basing it on Mulan.
Mulan, yeah.
So yeah, that's I think that sort of covers our bases.
Yeah, I think we prepared people. Yeah. I think that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
The one thing I will give this movie, having just watched it, it does a really good job balancing its tones. Because it is bouncing through a lot of it. There's the wartime stuff, there's the drama stuff, there's some comedy.
Yeah, there's a little bit of comical relief.
Yeah, I mean, it works.
It's nice to have a little bit of, especially in like a 2-hour movie.
Oh yeah,
you need to have some of these breaks. And I think it balances the comic relief and the only, or the major gripe I have. I'm not going to say it's the only gripe.
No.
But it's the only one that really matters to me, at least.
Go for it.
Is in some areas throughout the movie, there's some like over melodramatic sections.
Very drama.
Yeah, and that is actually pretty. Like, Chinese dramas are very much in the same vein, which is why I guess that's why we're saying, like, this is definitely Chinese cinema. This is not Hollywood in any way.
It has my favorite trope in all of Chinese cinema, which is something that happens in quite a few of their films, and every time it happens, I am always happy to see it. Wait, we don't know how to get out of this scene? Cut to white.
Yeah. White fade.
Fade cut to white. It's like you're in a situation, you're like, okay, how are they going to leave this battlefield now and get back with, because they don't have enough food. No, we faded to white and they're there. It is the get out of jail free card of Chinese cinema.
But I think it was done really tastefully in this movie.
It was done tastefully.
Because it's kind of like divided into acts and scenes. And so every time there was a cut to white, which happens quite a few times throughout the movie, it's very much changing scene.
I mean, it feels like an epic. I mean, though the characters don't show 12 years quite as much as they might have.
Yeah.
The fact that a lot of time has been passing and things have been happening that we haven't seen is definitely apparent.
Yeah.
So it does a quite good job of kind of showing that epic scale of time and such. And a lot of that has to do with the white cuts, as I call them, because it does give this impression of, okay, we are leaving what is happening. We're not just cutting away. We are leaving this time and place and moving on to a new time and place.
Yeah, and I think this movie does a much better job than something, say, like The Witcher, to express time.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into The Witcher. That's a whole tangent.
I gotta say, though, speaking of Witcher, fight scenes in this, or the battle scenes, I should call them.
Scenes, yes.
Some of that was really well done. I mean, it's pretty much practical with just little dabs of digital blood here and there.
Yeah,
the digital blood was, at least for me, a bit distracting.
Yes, because it's 2009. It's not the best.
It doesn't blend super well.
Yeah, it falls a bit flat basically on the screen, but they do have practical blood as well.
Oh yeah, and the fighting is practical.
All the fighting is practical, yeah.
And it really shows. I mean, it's really well done. Fight choreography, battle choreography, like the guys lining up for battle and getting into their little phalanx units and all the rest of it. It was really well done. Yeah,
and all the armor and the shields and the weaponry, you could feel the heft of them. Like, this was really weighty, actual metal.
Oh, yeah.
The actors were... You could tell that they were kind of struggling a little bit with the fighting, like when they were trying to smash shields and stuff like that.
Yeah, you could feel some of these hits.
Yeah, like it was really, really well done in that regard, and the fact that it's all practical in that sense, it gives it more oomph.
Yeah, so I mean, Hua Mulan is in this war, the 12-year war, is against what are they called? The Ruans, who are the plains people.
Yeah, from the north.
In northern China, who have later on and in other eras be referred to as, the Han or the Mongols. It's that area where you have the nomadic horsemen of north of China, who have been historically people who have kind of broken into China in warfare and then gone back again, and it's kind of a historical precedent.
And they refer to that in this movie, that these are tribes people that go into China, plunder, loot and plunder, and then go back and retreat.
But actually, it's a little bit more historically on point than that, because what they refer to is this idea that they go into the Great Plains, they plunder, they go back. However, when there is a confederation of all the tribes combined, that's when they're bold enough to actually start moving in and actually taking territory. And that's something that has happened historically several times. I haven't researched this film. I just know this stuff. This is an area of history I'm quite interested in.
No, that's good.
So it is one of those things where you can actually see, and it is discussed in the film, that they gathered all these tribes, and now as a confederation of tribes, they are actually starting to make serious headway into the Chinese territories, the Wei territories.
Yeah. The Wei lands, basically. But, so what's so incredible about this movie is all the rewards that it has won. So
yeah, this one did really well for itself.
This one has done really well. It won the, and I'm going to probably butcher some of these names, but the main actress, Xiao Wei is her name. Yeah. Xiao Wei. She won Best Actress in multiple award festivals, and one of which is the Changshan Film Festival, the 10th. She won Best Actress in the Shanghai Film Critic Awards.
Yep.
And also Best Actress for the 100 Flowers Award, which is essentially the Chinese equivalent of the Oscars.
Yeah, and I think we both agreed she deserved it.
Yeah, she did an amazing job.
Knocked it out of the park. I mean, this movie rests on her shoulders.
And I mean, the camera is almost always on her.
Yeah, it's her perspective, it's her story. And it is very reliant on her performance, because so much of the film she has to pretend to be, quote unquote, someone else,
Yeah, and this film they didn't go the route of, well, the sort of the disrespectful route, I would say, or the cheap route of saying, oh, she's trying to pretend to be a man. The focus is very little on that, actually. Yeah, the movie kind of forgets about that.
Yeah, I mean, it comes up occasionally, but the gender aspect seems irrelevant.
Yeah, and it's even sort of joked about, I don't know if you caught it, but between the soldiers themselves, they were sort of like referring to her as a man, but sort of in a joking way, because I think they all really knew at that point. When she became general, they kind of sort of knew.
The way it seems to me is like, I think the movie is trying to hedge its bets a little bit. It never openly addresses if the men in her army know.
Yeah,
she is a man.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's never directly addressed, but it's certainly. I mean, this is not exactly a masculine-looking actress. This is a very traditionally beautiful Chinese woman who is in the armor and all the rest of it, and they pretty much kind of hint that, yes, they know, but she's a great general, so they don't care.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
And they even straight out say that at the end.
At the end, yeah, completely. I mean, there's
the king just comes out and says, "We don't really care. You were a great general.
Yeah, I think
we're proud to have you."
Yeah, I think the wording is, she's like, "I am a woman, punish me," and he says, "I forgave you a long time ago." It's kind of like,
so people knew. So, and that kind of because they sort of do a disservice to the character if it all hinges on her pretending to be a man.
Yes.
So this movie does the smarter thing, which is focusing on how do you react in a battlefield situation, regardless of your gender. Just like, how do you react when you see all these people whom you refer to as brothers?
Oh, yeah.
What do you do when you see them essentially die one by one?
Yeah, no,
and you still have to lead the rest.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rough movie in that regard. I mean, it's not a distinctly gory movie at any point. There's a bit of blood, there's a bit of violence. I mean, it is a war movie.
But it's very subdued.
It is subdued.
It's not, like you were saying, it's not overly gory. No one really like loses limbs or anything like that.
And if there is anything like that, it's definitely, you can really tell the camera made an effort to stay away.
Yeah.
There's like one specific point where she beheads a warrior commander
early on in the movie, yeah.
And the camera really does immediately cut away to a distance so you don't get any of that gore.
And then zooms into her face where you just see the blood splatter on her helmet.
Yeah, I mean it's as you said, tasteful. It's a good way of handling that kind of violence, especially in this kind of movie, because if not, it would just be all over the place.
Yeah. Especially, because this movie's focus was not, like, even though because this is a war movie.
Yeah, so and there's war consistently throughout.
Yeah.
Battle after battle.
No, because this movie is about those 12 years of war. Like, you start at the beginning of it, and then you end the end of it.
It's not like there's a battle, and then you cut away for a whole area of segments of different places or different times away from the war, and then you're back again.
No, it's battlefield.
You were on campaign this entire movie.
Yeah, you were either in the camp, or you were on the battlefield.
Oh, yeah.
So, it didn't really leave the war.
And kind of taking that gender thing off the table as a major point in the film helps so much, because suddenly we're actually allowed to just enjoy the performances and the kind of, I'm gonna call it a romance. It
is.
You have to call it a romance.
It is. It's essentially a romance of two people that can't really be together.
Correct.
For various reasons throughout the story. It kind of changes the reasons why they can't be together.
Yeah, no, the whole thing does go through a lot of changes, but it begins with her and her co-general. Let's call it that.
No, she's the co-general.
Yeah, he's the general, she's the sub-commander. And it kind of just moves through there as a story.
And again, this movie moves at like a lightning pace. In the beginning. So it starts out with her obviously being a regular soldier, him being a general. She gets promoted to, well, he was a co-general. Yeah. He gets promoted to general. She gets promoted to co-general. And then almost immediately after that, they're both equal level.
Yeah.
Like commanders. They both get commander status.
Yeah, no, it's like, it really does go at a clip, to put it lightly. And a lot of that, I mean, their relationship is more important than their positions and their... Yeah. There's not a lot of change, really, in terms of what their ranks mean, but their relationship changes almost because of it.
Yeah, no, and the relationship changes. And it's like I was saying, like, the whole movie is about how the interplay between these two.
Yep.
And how manipulating some of them can be.
Okay.
And we'll get into that.
Oh, we're going to get into it. But my reaction at the time was
on point.
Quite spectacular.
Yeah, as I was saying the same thing when I watched it.
It really... Oh.
But yeah. Okay. So for various... So at any given point in time, they can't really be together. Because of differing reasons. So the first one was because of their position, and the second time is because, they basically thought one of them was dead.
Yeah, that's the one. We're going to get to it, but yeah. But I mean, the whole thing is that she is, even if people know, quote unquote, she has to take the station of a man in this film. And the male role is very quickly defined at the beginning of the film. Women don't fight, men do. Yeah. There is a whole hierarchy thing.
Yeah, there's even her father all the way in the beginning. Pretty much says, all these people who glorify war are idiots. All the people who talk about feelings in wars are fools.
Yes.
And he pretty much says that out.
Yeah,
almost
but
verbatim.
he also has, what was the incredible line he says? Our family only knows how to fight. If you would like to fight in the next war, be born in the next life as a man.
Yeah.
It's like a really, whoa.
And you can
harsh.
So that was both, I mean, it's kind of like a cultural thing
It
as
is a
well.
cultural thing.
A time
Especially
period
from
thing.
that time period.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But you can also sense that he doesn't want to lose a child.
Yeah, I mean, he's a single father. It's made clear that the wife already died years ago.
Yeah.
He intends to die in this war. He is sick. He is not feeling well. He is saying his goodbyes.
Yeah, and he thinks that, dying on the battlefield is the only way to die respectfully.
Yeah.
And that's sort of echoed in her journey as well.
Oh, yeah. And she's being sent off to marry.
Yes.
And she revokes that. She steals his armor in the middle of the night, and she goes to enlist.
Yeah.
Well, it's the Mulan story. It's the
the
Mulan story, but with an added layer of emotion. Because
with depth, I would say.
Yeah, in the Mulan story we're used to, at least here in the West, it is very, he would love to see her fight, but he can't because she's a woman, and he's going to go and do his duty. And, No, there's a little bit more going on here, and it is a much more grounded human approach to it.
Yeah, because not only, like we were saying, not only the cultural aspect, but also the fact that he doesn't want to see her go down the path that he went.
Yeah, and then there is where she meets Wen Tai, who's being played by Chen Kun.
Yes.
Who is also very good in this. I mean, those two...
Yeah, I mean, the movie hinges on their performances.
Yeah, also a little bit from what is his name?
Tiger?
Tiger.
Yeah.
Who is being played by JC Chan.
Yeah, JC Chan.
And he also does a great job.
He does a great job.
We both loved him. We're both in the beginning of the movie.
He's a bit of the comic relief.
In the beginning, at least.
Yeah,
he really kind of pulls up.
In the beginning, he's a bit of the comic relief, and then he sort of becomes the emotional core, I would say.
Moral core.
The moral core.
Yeah. He's kind of the guiding beacon there when she gets lost in this journey. Because, I mean, this is the thing I will say about this movie. The Mulan journey here is not, lacking of existential crisis. This poor woman gets put through the ringer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's emotionally destructive, the effect of all this has on her, and you can see her having her highs and her lows. And
the scenes where she's picking up the dog tags, and the actress does an amazing job of just how brutal it is to go in the aftermath of a battle and just pick up all these dog tags and wash them. Which is just like,
The dialogue does have a bit of a tendency, at least the translation, because we had subtitles on, obviously, as it did feel a little bit too heavy into, like, prose almost too poetic at times.
Yeah, but that's also typical of Chinese cinema.
It is, but it kind of like, the performances pulled us through that. It didn't feel archaic.
Yeah. Like the screenplay didn't win any awards, and that's understandable because it was the performances.
It was the performances.
Yeah, and speaking of awards, it was nominated also for the 100 Flowers, the sort of the Oscar equivalent. It was a runner-up for Best Picture, but it didn't win. But she did win Best Actress.
Yeah, and again, she deserved it.
Definitely deserved it. She did an amazing job.
As long as you can get past, and you should get past just right off the bat, no, she does not look like a man. No, she's not really fooling anybody.
And the movie sort of accepts that.
Yeah, and as long as you're willing to do that as well, because I didn't know what this was going in. First 5 minutes, I'm sitting there going, why is nobody stopping her? Because she is clearly a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not the point. And as long as you can get past that real quick and just get it out of your system, you're good.
Yeah, no, I think this movie definitely went the right way in choosing properly competent actress.
Oh yeah, no, they chose
to put it mildly.
Wow, I mean,
she is beyond competent, actually.
What was the other two? She's in Redcliffe, and Redcliffe is
she's
the kind of the big version of a similar kind of movie. If it's a bit more war oriented, I would say. She's also in Shaolin Soccer.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Which is where we'd seen her from.
Because Shaolin Soccer is Stephen Chow, who's also the guy behind The Good, the Bad, and the Weird, which is just one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. Because it is complete.
I haven't seen it, but I know of it.
Oh, that is going on the list, because that is unbelievably entertaining.
Okay.
Stephen Chow is quite a guy.
This list is becoming exceptionally long.
It means we have stuff to do. We need to start writing these down, though.
I've written all mine down.
Okay,
yeah.
Every time I say something, you write it down. You're in charge of that.
I've written mine down. I haven't written any of yours.
Hey, darn it. I'll have to re-listen. I'm the one who edits these anyway. So...
Yeah. That's fine.
We'll be fine.
But yeah, so speaking of Tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The comedy relief, kinda.
In the beginning, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's him and a small cohort of guys who are, what are they called again? Fatso,
Hulu, Scholar,
and
yeah.
I think those are kind of like that. Yeah, I mean...
and Turtle.
And Turtle. I gotta be honest, when I saw these guys and I heard their names, I'm thinking to myself, please don't make that a continual thing for the movie, that this is like the little group that's gonna be hanging out with her, and then they started getting murdered.
Yeah,
so
one by one.
Yeah, just like viscerally murdered. I'm like, oh, that's fine.
The two brothers, Hulu and Fatso, man, they die so badly.
So brutal. You're like, no!
And you can, like, he's his brother. Like, no.
Oh, it's so brutal.
Yeah, no, it's but like, even though there's some like comedy relief, like that kind of stuff, at the same time, like that very same scene, you have the person in the corner crying, and then they ask, why is he crying? Because
his mother's sick, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they basically, to avoid, because he sold everything, and to avoid her like being basically living on the street and dying, he joined the army. And, you know, he's afraid.
Yeah, he is afraid. And fear is discussed a lot in this film.
Yeah.
But I want to return to something you just mentioned, because it needs to be discussed.
Okay.
The crying.
Oh, yeah.
Just...
every scene. Every single scene.
I don't mean to harp on it, but I mean, again...
But that was what I was saying. Like, that's my main gripe with the movie.
Main gripe is the melodrama. And yes, it is kind of part of the story, but...
It could have been done differently. I think we have different standards for like from Hollywood and sort of Western movies. Although the vast majority of Hollywood also does melodrama.
Well, this is the thing. It's kind of It's kind of like, for me, it was more the fact that I don't mind crying in a film, and I don't mind having a scene where the slow crying happens. I mean, Lord of the Rings does that. I mean. Blood Diamond famously felt that a scene wasn't dramatic enough, so they added it in post.
Really?
That last shot of, I think it's Jennifer Connelly. No, who is it in Blood Diamond? The chick.
I don't remember.
I don't remember, but anyway.
It's an old movie.
Yeah, no, not that old.
Well, it's like 2006.
Yeah, it's old enough. Point. Yeah. But yeah, no, like there's like a
15 years
single
ago,
tear running down her cheek, and they added that afterwards because they didn't feel that she was sad enough.
No, okay.
Like
that's
one digital tear.
That's just insulting.
That's so sad. Yeah, but no, I mean that can work. But my God, is it all over this movie?
Yeah. No.
Every time.
Yeah. This
Mulan and
Wentai
have like an emotional moment. It's turning away from each other and slow tears.
Yeah.
And it's so sad. It's like...
But it doesn't... I mean, as distracting and as repetitive as that gets, it doesn't really detract too much from the performances.
No, I mean, the performances are great. And it isn't fake crying.
I mean, technically...
You know what I mean. It actually is
it's
quite
not
convincing.
Overacting. Yeah, it's not overacting.
No,
it's
I mean, the acting is quite subdued. The tears just are kind of like a...
It's just the director. It's kind of like,
psst, hey audience, they're sad.
In case it wasn't obvious.
You didn't catch it.
We hired these amazing actors, but we had to add tears.
Yeah, it's like
to make it obvious.
It is a little bit distracting because it does happen quite a lot.
Yeah,
but we haven't got to at least my favorite part of this movie. Our antagonist.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
What is
the
his
antagonist?
name?
Is amazing in this movie. He's the first scene you see him in.
Yeah.
He's just laying on this like bear wolf pelt. Contraption.
Okay,
like,
if you want
instead of a throne, it's just like this, like almost like a bed,
a chaise longue. It's like,
and he's just laying on it, model posing, by the way, with the hand like on the neck and then the leg lifted a little bit.
If you need a reference for this, what this looks like, It is the Burt Reynolds pose.
I was about to say, yeah.
So you need to Google Burt Reynolds posing and him lying there with the hand,
with the leopard skin.
Yeah, and the puppies is like it's.
That he's introduced to the movie with that pose.
He spends half the movie in that pose.
He spends half the movie in that pose, and he is so good.
Such a dick.
Yeah,
he is a little Joffrey motherfucker, isn't he? It's like
and I loved him in that role.
Yeah, so that is Modu. He isn't the head of the what are they called again?
The Ruans.
The Ruans. At the beginning, that is his father.
Yes,
and that is being played by a guy called Junhu, who is playing Modu.
Yeah,
and him and his sister are kind of the two sides of the coin here. The sister wants...
Same father, different mother.
Same father, different mother. The sister kind of wants to go for peace.
Yeah, speaking of Joffrey.
He wants to go for a long war. The dad's a little bit in between.
Yeah, the dad just wants to stick to the ways, basically. They're just like, we'll go in and we'll plunder some villages and then we'll disappear for half a year and come back.
Shocking spoiler alert, because... Yeah, nobody saw this one fucking coming.
The minute you see him on screen, you know this is gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna you're gonna stab your daddy. But
he does it in such a nice way, though.
It's such a weird way to do it, too. It's like they're having this lovely conversation, and then as they're talking, you just hear a little...
Yeah, and then the father goes from smiling and laughing to, like, cold face, and then slowly leaning into his son.
But the kid keeps talking.
The kid keeps talking. It's like as if nothing happened. Completely... Brilliant psychopath portrayal.
Oh, yeah, no, he does. He really carries it. It's a look. And, him with the long hair and the posing. It's
a brilliant choice of antagonist. Like we were saying, this movie hinges on their performances. Yeah. Those three... Incredible.
He really sells it. And he has that wonderful moment you pointed out, too, the attention to detail, where he's got... The other leaders want to leave.
Yeah, because they don't want to continue fighting.
Yeah, because Mulan has just wrecked them. She has been,
she's on the armies, literally on the warpath. They even say that while one of the armies were retreating, they chased after them
for 300 miles
in the snow. And then when they went to their village and they thought they were safe, Mulan ambushed them.
Yeah, so they're having their asses whooped.
Yeah,
and they were like, guys, we need to go home. This isn't working. We're not getting territory. We're losing here. So let's leave. And he serves the guy a goodbye drink and then beats him to death using the can.
Yeah, no, it's beautifully shot too. It's like, you know what? I understand you guys are all tired. We're all gonna rest. We're gonna have some wine. We're gonna celebrate, and then we're gonna go home. And so he pours him the first glass. He's like, "You take the first drink." And the minute this guy takes a sip, he just starts bashing him with this canister.
Goes full Robert De Niro in The Untouchables.
Yeah. That's a perfect way. That's a perfect analog.
Yeah,
and my comment was with the attention to detail was you see that the canteen, or what do you call it? It's called.
It's like a carafe. Right? It's like a metal drinking thing,
pot almost.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you can see it dented with blood.
Oh yeah, it's like.
And I was like, you rarely, even in Hollywood, do you see like the things dent or get like damaged? Yep. Usually, if it's like glass, it just breaks.
Yep.
For some weird reason, because that's what glass does. It just immediately breaks into a million pieces.
But that's for stunt reasons. But yes,
safety glass.
Safety glass.
But yeah, and you see it dented around his head. It's just so brutal.
Oh,
and there's almost no blood in that scene.
No, it's
like
shot.
The brutality is because like you were saying, like it's shot. You don't really see the person really get hit.
Yeah,
because it's right underneath the camera.
It is doing exactly the same thing as De Niro in Untouchables, where it cuts to an angle where you're seeing him do the swinging and you're seeing a little bit of blood, but you're not seeing the impact.
Yeah,
because it is trying its best to not go down that route.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that.
Yeah, me too. Because it is more tasteful.
It is more tasteful, and then for this kind of story, especially because it is quintessentially a love story. I mean, when you get right into the bare bones of it, that's kind of what this is. And I don't want my love story covered in brain spatter. It's just, I think that would have actually detracted from the film quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
So I really enjoyed. I mean, again, I do feel that the enemy armies are a bit underdeveloped. They really are just kind of fodder for Mulan and her journey.
Yeah, but like we were saying in the beginning, this is her movie.
It is her movie,
yeah.
and the only times we really cut away is to
progress the plot, essentially.
Yeah, Joffrey boy.
Joffrey.
And him being a pissant, so...
essentially.
Yeah.
And then there's the one scene with the Commander-in-Chief of the Wei Army.
Yeah,
but then,
wow, that thing there is an odd choice.
No, but that was, but you have to admit that was really awesome.
Oh, it's good foreshadowing.
It's good, really good foreshadowing. It's essentially the Commander-in-Chief for Mulan.
Yeah, her boss.
Her boss. And this person is reading all of her like
achievements
tales and achievements, and he's praising her, and the orchestral music is swelling, and then all of a sudden the Commander-in-Chief just goes like, "Stop it! Like, shut up!"
And the music cuts. It's like there was a little band behind the guy who was just like, "Wait, what?"
It's like,
I thought you wanted the dramatic music. You were demoted to the kitchen staff.
But his response is the best. Like, what? Why would you want to demote Mulan to the kitchen staff?
Not Mulan.
Yeah, he's like, not Mulan, you idiot. Go.
Take him away.
But yeah, but that was like, I mean, it's a small scene, but like you were saying, it's great foreshadowing.
It's great foreshadowing.
Yeah, because you guessed it immediately.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that. I'm like, oh, they're gonna fuck her over.
They are.
So
I misunderstood what you meant.
Yes, you did, which was a wonderful moment. But okay, I'm gonna bring this right back because now we're heavily into spoiler territory.
Yeah, I know, but we gave a warning.
So here's the thing we were alluding to earlier, which is that her love interest.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name again? I can never.
One tie.
He is in a Mulan wants to stop fighting. One tie goes into battle without her, and is supposedly killed.
Yeah.
So when
this scene is taken like straight out of some cartoon or something.
Oh,
it was shot really nicely. He gets slashed in the face with an axe, and then it immediately becomes a silhouette of him.
Yeah.
With the red background.
And it's really
it's
quick.
Like slow motion cut of him like moving away, and then it cuts and fades.
Yeah.
Back to her.
And Tiger shows up and says, "Don't give up, yada yada."
Yeah.
She has her depression. She turns to drink. She doesn't want to be here anymore. She doesn't know how to do this anymore.
Yeah, she doesn't train her troops. The troops become essentially lost and depressed.
Yeah, because they don't have their commander.
Yeah.
And then later on, it turns out he survived. He got a cut in the face. And my reaction immediately upon it was, "You asshole."
Because the only reason he told her that he died was to manipulate her into
being a better commander.
Yeah, or to have less emotion. But that comes to bite him in the ass, which I really like that final touch. It's not as obvious as this one. This one is pretty much spelled out.
Yep.
That because he talks to Tiger and tells him, like, this is the reason why I'm doing it. I want her to not be as emotional on the battlefield.
Yeah, but again, I say what I said before. It's like, yeah, he might be trying to teach her that.
Yeah, no, he's an asshole.
He is an asshole because what he's pretty much saying is, yes, I'm in charge of this army, but fuck it, you do it.
Yeah, you do.
You, lady who clearly doesn't want to be here anymore, I'm going to let you handle all this responsibility. I'll be over here.
Yeah, and they kind of allude in the beginning like she is a master strategist and she's been pretty much winning all these battles.
Yeah, she's the reason they win.
Yeah. And so he's like, well, you know, I want her to continue winning, so I'm going to pretend I don't want her to get as emotional, so I'm going to pretend I died.
And then let her go through depression for what seems like months.
They pretty much say like it's been months.
I mean, it's a bad scene. And he's just there in the background going like, "It's okay, I have a plan."
But you don't see him until after she.
Yeah, no, she suddenly picks herself up and gets back in the game, and then he's there
because of Tiger. He becomes the moral center.
He does.
Yeah,
good old Tiger.
But yeah, but then it comes and bites him in the ass afterwards when he realizes as they got betrayed, like we were saying.
Yeah.
Then he pretty much sacrifices himself, which is what she tried to do.
Yeah, because it turns out he's actually the son of the emperor.
Yeah.
And therefore, when the army is trapped and they are not getting reinforcement because Commander-in-Chief doesn't like Mulan winning all these things by herself.
Yeah.
He
betrays them.
Yeah, he betrays them. So Prince Boy steps out on the field and says, "I give up my life." She gets medical treatment, and the army is saved.
Yeah, essentially.
And then Mulan, for just a hot second there, turns into a spy thriller.
Just a hot second.
Yeah, just
it's quick. If you don't pay attention,
you don't pay attention. You're like, wait, what? What's happening here?
She goes full on stealth action hero.
Yeah, she goes full
blending in the crowd.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, blending in the crowd.
Yes, and,
dropping potatoes.
Dropping potatoes like you're going to collect them. Don't mind me.
Yeah.
I'm just a woman. And or no, she's not a woman because she's wearing a hat. That part did confuse me. No,
but they were all, like, men and women were all wearing the same clothes.
But the princess didn't realize she was a woman until she took her hat off.
No, the princess, no, she did, but she said that you're Mulan, the person that I've heard of so much, and she's expecting a man, and then when she shows her, then she takes off the hat and becomes more in the light, and she goes, oh, you're a woman too. Let's band together.
Woo, female empowerment in China.
Yeah, which you don't get enough of.
No, you don't get enough of that anywhere. But and so they pretty much like do a political assassination of Mr. Joffrey Boy.
Yeah, you have Vitas, whom we
need to get to Vitas.
Yeah, we will. It's in the end.
I'm so curious about what on earth this Vitas nonsense is.
It's coming.
And so Mulan pretty much, there's an attempted stabby. They're gonna save the guy, and it ends up, we all know Mulan wins, but it ends up with Mulan saving the prince so that he can marry.
Yeah, the asshole sister.
Yes, who he was trying to marry, which is why we keep messing around with the Game of Thrones references.
Yeah, because he really takes the whole job.
It's a thing.
Yeah. Because like we were saying, same father, different mothers, but that's still incest.
Yeah, you said practically incest, and I'm like,
no, it actually is.
Just incest.
It's
straight
purely
up incest.
It's literally incest.
And almost at the exact point, it was when the music score for them started going da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Well, something akin to that.
It wasn't quite there, but it was real close.
But yeah, so he marries her. So like we were saying, various reasons they can't be together because now he has to pretty much, even though he loves Mulan and wants to spend his life with her, he has to sort of take the hit and marry this other princess.
Yep.
So that there's
peace between the nations.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the only way to end the war, pretty much, is the way they explain it.
And so she tells him, like, you have to. You once told me that you would sacrifice your life
to end this war.
So now you have to pretty much do that.
Yeah, and her along with it.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's yes, it has some negatives like the melodrama and stuff, but overall, I think it's a great movie.
I mean, the 2 hours moved on quickly.
Yeah.
It did not feel slow. It didn't feel sluggish at any point. It didn't at any point lose my attention.
Yeah, like I might have shaved off like 10 minutes from it just to lessen a little bit of that drama.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have been able to do that on the editing room. Like I would have been shot differently because there's a lot of plot being revealed. But I think that's also
it's where the focus is.
It's where the focus is. Yeah. So I would have just shot it differently, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Like just that melodrama, and just avoid that and make it more.
What I would say is that this movie does strike me. Again, I'm going to compare it to another film, but in terms of melodrama, very Crimson Peak.
Yeah,
it has this thing where it's like we're having one genre, but we keep bouncing back into the melodramatic bits, kind of at regular intervals.
Crimson Peak is a great analog for it. Yeah, and that section of the movie. Yeah.
It's Master and Commander, but if the ship's captain and the ship's medic were having a melodramatic love affair on the side.
Yeah,
which I think they were, but they weren't showing it on screen. So.
Okay, sure.
That's Russell Crowe and. The guy who plays Vision. We were just talking about him.
I know, and I like him. What is his name?
Yeah.
Adrian Allen something.
It's not Alan Tudyk, I'll tell you that much.
No, it's not that Alan. It's another Alan. but yeah. So I think if it's not obvious enough, I think we both highly recommend Paul Bettany.
Alan. Anyway,
his name was Alan in Heroes. Sorry.
Oh God. Yeah. That's where you would rank Paul Bettany.
Yeah, that's where I first saw him. Essentially. But yeah, no. So we highly recommend this movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It has a very solid kind of flow to it. It moves at a good clip. The war scenes are great. It isn't a huge epic in terms of like something like you'd see in like Saving Private Ryan, because it's not shot that way.
Yeah,
but it is quite close to Stanley Kubrick's Spartacus. You get a lot of these wide shots of the army forming up. There's a lot of, you get a really clear impression of how many people were involved as extras and in costume. I really enjoy that aspect of it. So, as a war film fan, absolutely, and as someone who can actually quite get behind this kind of melodrama, I'm on board.
Yeah.
And now you need to tell me what the hell is up with this white boy.
All right, so in this movie, he plays a very small role, but a very vital role, I would say, because he's essentially the guy who gives the first strike.
So, okay, we're just gonna, to make a point, the movie opens, and we have opening credits, and I'm sitting there going, okay, opening credits, and there's a white guy with long hair singing in a falsetto that just carries across the hills, and I'm like, I looked at you and like, did I get the wrong movie?
Like, nope, this is Vitas. And his name pops up on screen.
The only name in English. Everybody else is in Chinese, is in
Mandarin.
And then him going, Vitas. And I'm like, who the fuck is Vitas?
Okay, so Vitas plays the role of Goudet.
Goudet, who is the servant to the
Ruan's king, I guess, essentially.
Yeah,
the leader
of the tribes.
Yeah.
Dude.
And he was a slave, and then he was freed, but he continued serving that leader.
Yes, that's all given in kind of like a little bit of interchange, a little bit of exposition.
Yeah, he doesn't really speak much.
No.
But but his presence is well known.
His presence is known.
Is made aware.
It is, and he is the only non-Chinese person in the film, as far as I could tell.
As far as I could tell, too.
Yeah, no, he it really was the weirdest opening scene of this guy dressed all in white singing.
Yeah,
like,
so
what?
Vitas is a very, very famous singer in Asia.
Right.
He is, I believe, of Russian descent.
Okay.
And he's probably like most known for the meme that was surrounding him, which is, if you search, and you guys can do this at home as well, search what is it, like crazy Russian guy singing? And I'm not joking.
I think the only thing I will ever find for that is
close, not quite.
Oh, okay.
Very close.
No.
He does a similar thing with his tongue.
No!
So hang on, I'm going to show you a
you're
picture.
finding it. Oh, God.
Yeah.
What is this? He has been keeping me in suspense of this since the movie opened. The first shot, I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I'm like, hold on. Have you seen this guy?
No.
Have you seen that meme? You haven't seen that meme?
No, I'm not a meme guy. I don't know shit.
Where have you been?
Under a rock.
Well, yeah. He's
waiting for the advertisement.
Well, don't put the volume. We don't want to get copyright claimed.
Do you think this guy has copyright claim?
Dude, he's so famous in Asia. He's been, and I quote,
oh my God, that was him singing at the beginning of the film.
Yeah, no. He's actually like an operatic singer.
Operatic.
Yeah, operatic singer. He's soprano, I believe. He's super, super known in Asia. And he's been quoted, or like journalists have called him angelic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherworldly. These words are quotes.
Okay, I'm going to be entirely honest with you. When this movie opened and I saw this guy in his white outfit, I am literally sitting there going, why is the bad guy from The Crow in this movie?
Right.
That is who he looked like.
A little bit.
He looked exactly like the bad guy from The Crow. And I'm like, wait, this is supposed to be a Mulan movie made in China. What is he doing here?
Yes, no, please do. Seriously, for those that are not aware of who Vitas is, just search crazy Russian singer Vitas. And he'll show up. It's a very known meme for those that know it. It's that guy, yes, the crazy guy, and he does a great job as Goudet.
He does a great job as Goudet. Worst job as murder. He kind of
botched
that one.
He botched that murder.
That.
He botched it hard.
Yeah.
But he does draw first blood.
He does. Yes,
he draws first blood with his little
thingy.
Which was hidden inside the steak or something.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but I think it was a skewer. But it was a skewer. He attacked a man with a barbecue skewer.
Yeah, which is cool because they actually show that in the earlier scene when Mulan is dropping her potatoes.
They won't let him take in the knives.
Yeah. that they were using skewers for the meats.
Yeah, but they also had a scene where earlier in the film where he's going in and they took away his knives.
So a brilliant.
Yeah, they set it up very well. I mean, it's a very competently executed movie.
Yes.
The camera movements. Woo, I mean, the sweeping camera, the lighting, all the technical stuff, very on point. It is quite grounded. It isn't as stylistic as something you'd expect from, like, a Crouching Tiger.
Oh, no. But Crouching Tiger is more fantasy than...
Yeah, no, I mean, it isn't... what is his name? The guy who also directed that Hulk movie. Life of Pi. You know what I mean?
I know who you mean. Ang Lee.
Ang Lee. It isn't Ang Lee. This is way more grounded, way less overly stylized.
Yeah.
And the color palette is a little bit washed out almost. The color grading's odd in this movie.
I think it's incredibly...
I think it works really well, but it's
really
not something I'm used to seeing from this kind of film.
Yeah, no, like we were saying, like this is very much a nice introduction to the Chinese cinema, but it's not typical Chinese cinema.
I have to say, it seems to me like by watching it, I would have said it's almost like they were trying to also be accessible to a Western audience because they are dealing with something that has name appeal in the West already. Yeah. Because of that, in the movie that came out...
and the fact that they gave it two names, essentially.
I mean, it's kind of like... So they were clearly trying to appeal to a broader market, and I think the film is structured that way.
Yeah, and this is clearly a high-budget movie. I believe the estimate was around $12 million, which for China is huge.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I don't know if it made back all of its money, but...
Probably did. I'd be kind of surprised considering China's a big film market.
No, but considering how many awards this won or was nominated to, it makes sense that
I mean, the Chinese epics have pretty much always made their money back. That's kind of their bread and butter. They really do get through it. So I have a question.
This is a legend that's also very well known and respected in that region.
Completely. So, I mean, it is their Beowulf almost.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. We have now
Vitas.
No, I'm trying desperately to forget Vitas.
Look up Vitas. Do it.
Because we promised we were going to talk a little bit about the Disney.
Oh,
remakes.
yeah.
We're going to take this opportunity.
Yeah, I wanted to do that earlier. I just got caught up in the movie. And
no, we've got the movie out of the way. Now we can get on to it. Because it is a conversation I feel needs a little bit of tackling.
A little bit, yeah.
How do you feel about the concept in general? And do you have any standouts, good or bad?
Yes, so I don't mind a remake. I don't mind remakes or sequels in general.
Okay.
Because I'll just not watch them if they're bad.
Fair enough.
Essentially.
That's completely
and they don't really detract from the original.
No, I'll agree with that.
Or, I kind of... like, I'm the sort of person who, for example, Kevin Spacey, since we brought him up in another episode, episode we did. So Kevin Spacey, knowing what a piece of shit he is, I can still enjoy his performances because I can separate the acting from the person.
That's fair enough. I mean, we've already discussed this off air, but I'm worse at this. This is something I find more difficult.
Yeah, so I don't find that difficult at all. Yes, I will not support him financially by going to see any of his movies in the cinema, for example. Like, I didn't go see the, what was it, Billionaire Boys Club?
Didn't watch
No
it.
one
no,
did.
I didn't.
No one did. So, I think like 6 people went to see that movie.
And all of them are registered with the FBI.
Yeah. So I won't support him financially, but I can still appreciate the performances he gave in movies like The Usual Suspects, LA Confidential.
Yeah.
Even in Seven. Oh my God, yes, Seven. And even in something like Baby Driver.
Yeah, no.
Which is more recent.
Yeah, I really do like Baby Driver. I struggle with him, but I do see what you mean.
And I'm the same way when it comes to sequels and remakes, where if it's good, then it's good. If it's not, it doesn't really detract from the original. Like, I can still appreciate the original. Like when the 2016 Ghostbusters came out, I saw it, didn't like it, doesn't ruin the original Ghostbusters.
No, but here's where I'm going to step in with my counter argument. Because on that one there particularly, I have a little bit of I have more issues with it. We've discussed that before. Here's the thing. And it's going to seem like a really weird tangent aside, but it is with purpose.
Tangent aside.
Do you know the song Fast Car?
No.
I got a fast car.
Oh, yeah, I know that song. Yeah.
So here's the thing. A couple of years back, me and my sister are in a car, and that the new version of that song, there's a remix thing, comes on the radio, and my sister goes, "Oh, I like this song." And I said, "Yeah, I prefer the original." And she looks at me and she says, "There's an original?" Because a lot of times,
I can understand.
It does feel like when a remake is done of an older film, rather than improving the good name of the original by drawing attention to it, it kind of blocks it from the memory of younger people who weren't around for that on its own. So, for example, RoboCop. I remember having a conversation with someone and I mentioned RoboCop, and they said, that movie was terrible. And I said, which one? And they didn't know there was an old one because they'd only ever heard of RoboCop and associated it with the new one.
Yeah, well, okay, but... in retro, as a counter argument, these same people would have never seen or heard the original. Anyways.
I know, but I don't like the people associating
the thing
bad
is, yes,
stuff with good names.
The majority of people who would have never heard or seen the originals, they would probably only recognize the new.
Correct.
But there's a small portion of those people that are going to like the new one, or maybe dislike the new one, so much so that they're going to look up the older.
Yeah, no, I do see that one. It's just, for me, it's that experience of having something I'm so fond of, having its good name tarnished, kind of, is a little bit...
I can understand that. It's just that
I don't like it very much. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, I can understand where you're coming from. It's just that for me personally, I separate. I can easily,
yes.
Compartmentalize.
No, exactly, and I'm not quite as good at that when it comes to this.
And when it comes to remakes, I think you have bad remakes, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
I think some of the Disney ones have been bad.
Yep.
And there's the pointless remakes, which are shot for shot.
Which I think are the worst.
The Vince Vaughn version versus Hitchcock version.
Yeah, or Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
I'm sorry, Beauty and the Beast.
Lion King, apparently. I haven't seen it, but Lion King is apparently shot for shot.
Shot for shot. It's shot for goddamn shot.
So, what's the point?
What's the point?
Yeah. Just the fact that it's a different medium? Well, not really, because they're both technically animation.
Yep, they are both technically animation. I'm sorry, and I'll be entirely honest, especially the Lion King one, because I have watched that. Yeah, the animation is impressive, the digital work. Simba in the thing is way more expressive in the original 1991.
That's because it's
properly animated.
Or I was going to say hand animated. I don't know if it was actually hand animated, but it's animated.
Yeah, but I mean, that's my point.
It's kind of old enough to be hand animated.
It's a movie that's about conveying a story and an emotion and characters.
Yeah, they're just using animals to sort of
do that.
Yeah.
And Hamlet. But it's why on earth do we need to make that more difficult by layering it with more and more quote-unquote realistic technology? It's kind of this is counterproductive.
Yeah.
You are actually detracting from the source material.
Yeah, so those I would call the pointless remakes.
Yeah.
You might as well have just re-released the original with
4K,
maybe in 4K or with newer. You can even do it in the theaters. I think I think the same people would have gone and seen it.
They have released Lion King before though. At the 20-year the 20-year anniversary, I remember they put it back in cinemas.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So by all means, do that. I mean, because even if you do something different and it turns out to be worse, say the 2016 Ghostbusters, I can still understand where you were getting at.
Yep.
I might not like the movie, but I can respect the thought. Not the execution, but the idea.
So those are the pointless ones. What's your bad ones?
So, Ghostbusters.
No, I mean the Disney remakes.
Oh,
I'm focusing on Disney.
I haven't seen too many of them, because I just found them to be pointless.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that. The one I will recommend is Lion King. Or not Lion King, Jungle Book.
Jungle Book.
Jungle Book is good.
Jungle Book, that's also Jon Favreau, right?
Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
The main man. No, that one's good. I think Maleficent is very interesting.
I've seen the original. Oh, not the original. I mean the first Maleficent, which I also thought was interesting because the second one has come out now as well. I haven't seen it.
But no, I think they did a really interesting job. They did something different with that.
They did something very different with that. I mean, it's Sleeping Beauty, but it's now taken from a different character's point of view.
Yeah.
And they gave that character a little bit of depth, which I appreciated.
And Angelina Jolie, who you're always a fan of.
Yes, I like Angelina Jolie.
Oh, the dreamy look that just came in your eye. Ooh.
Angelina Jolie.
And then there's the Cinderella, which is Kenneth Branagh's film. The guy who directed
it. I know
it's
Kenneth
not bad.
Branagh,
but it's not a bad film.
He directed the first Thor.
He did direct the first Thor. I mean, he's a Shakespearean actor, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's directed Hamlet.
Yep.
That he acted in. That was amazing. And also Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah, where he's also with his magnificent mustache as Poirot.
Which was not his mustache.
No, it was not. That was something they found lying on the street and stuck to his face. But,
they just found a mouse and stuck it to his face.
The thing I will say, because Maleficent is quite an adult film that is kind of subversively trying to hide as a Disney film. I would have said, and I watched the Cinderella film with my sister, I think. And she is way younger than me. And likes, that kind of film more. So it wasn't quite up my alley, but they really hit their target audience for the kind of person who is both young enough to appreciate a children's movie, to put it that way, but is willing to re-engage with old material like Cinderella. So that one actually kind of did exactly what it was supposed to do, even if I wasn't the audience.
Okay.
So that one I give credit to. Mulan's the new one. Are we expecting more? Pinocchio, but that's not going to be done by Disney. That's Guillermo del Toro who's going to come out with an animated Pinocchio film.
Well, whatever.
Man, oh man, that's going to be something.
That's going to be Pan's Labyrinth all over again.
The
Geppetto.
whale. Geppetto and the whale.
Evil person.
Ooh, I wouldn't be surprised.
But yeah, so for good remakes, I think it's ones that not only do something different, but go in a completely different direction.
Yeah, different is good.
Yeah. I think that now this has nothing to do with Disney.
No, go for it.
And it was on my list of best of.
Get on.
Suspiria.
Yes.
2018. The original 1970s, I think it was 78. I don't know.
Sounds right.
70. Yeah.
Dario Argento, a very colorful Giallo film.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
Which I'm a big fan of. I like
that. Yeah, no, they're fun. They're a ton of fun to watch.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the color palette, the color grading.
Oh, yeah. The light. It's just, the way that film is lit is its own little,
and it's, super saturated. And the movie, for example, is set in a dance school. There's only the one dancing scene.
Yep.
There's a lot of these odd choices, and then there's the minor characters, side characters, the person who tells her about the occult and whatever.
Yeah.
That's the original movie, and then the remake goes and does almost the complete opposite of the original.
Yes.
It completely drowns out the colors.
Oh yeah, no, except for certain key colors at certain times. Yeah.
No, there's an overabundance of a color, but it's drowned out. It's very drowned.
You're right.
It's not. It's very grayed out. I mean, it's not saturated.
Oh no, it's not saturated at all.
It's undersaturated, if anything. And then these minor characters that were on screen in the original for 5 minutes are now all of a sudden an entire main character of the plot.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. The original Suspiria is a girl horror story. The new one is almost like a politics story. It's almost like a behind the scenes of a secret order politics movie, and you're like, what is this?
Yeah, and it's exactly. It's like a Illuminati.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, conspiracy.
There's power plays and there's stuff going on, and you're like, this is a different kind of drama.
Yeah, it's very, very different. I think that's an excellent example of a remake that not only did something different, but elevated the original material to an extent where not only did it make the original almost shameful to look back on. But it's not. But it's so much better.
Yeah, no, I do know what you mean. But it is a very different movie.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Good remakes are usually ones that do something different and elevate.
Yeah, and elevation is important.
Different.
Yeah, I mean, and then on the other side you have my one of my worst from last week, which was the week before. RoboCop.
Yeah. Which tries to do something different, but it doesn't elevate at all. If anything, it actually takes everything that was good and then twists it and does it bad and then doesn't do anything else.
It's trying to be a different movie. It's not trying to do a new version of an old movie. It's trying to just ram the old film into a mold of a modern.
Yeah, they're literally just using name recognition.
It's just terrible.
That's name recognition in a generic movie.
Yeah,
and I feel the same way in most remakes. It's either a shot for shot, which is pointless.
Yep.
Or it does that. Which RoboCop did.
So I got a question for you. Here's one that kind of falls into the middle of the whole shtick. Two films actually that are kind of both.
Total Recall.
I'm not going to go there.
All right.
That movie is god awful. The new one.
Well, it's Colin Farrell, Kate Beckinsale, and I want to say Jennifer Beal.
Yeah, I think so. But
yeah.
Colin Farrell is a leading man. We've had that conversation. No, what I was going to ask about is... now you've completely derailed my thought.
You did that on purpose.
Terminator Dark Fate.
I haven't seen it. Don't plan to.
Fair enough. Wise call.
Yeah.
Why is the Terminator now hanging drapes?
The reason is because, again, as I was saying, like sequels and remakes, I kind of bunch them a little bit together because usually movies, especially older movies, they never really were part of a larger universe. Like that only happened recently with Marvel's success.
Yeah, that is a Marvel
Usually
thing.
It was, you get one movie out, if it's a success, then you think about doing a sequel.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's usually a complete story. And I felt... like the original Terminator, very much in the same vein of the original Aliens, is a good, almost indie horror movie.
Yeah.
And then the sequels come out and they become
original
action. Alien, yeah.
Aliens is
the sequel, I know. So then the sequels come out and they change genre, essentially. They become action movies. And they are still also very successful.
And both directed by James Cameron.
Both directed by James Cameron, because he's like, I don't do this horror thing. I'm gonna change genre.
Well, full credit for the second Terminator. They called Linda Hamilton and said, "Do you want to be back in the film?" And she said, "Yes, but only if I'm allowed to be crazy."
Yeah, and it worked.
Worked like a charm. I'm like, well done.
She was badass. She was crazy. It was everything you ever wanted.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I will say. You know what? The new movie, take away whatever you want, and you can, and you shouldn't bother really seeing it. Linda Hamilton, still awesome. Arnold Schwarzenegger, not bad.
But Arnold Schwarzenegger always is not bad, even in the worst movies.
Yeah, no, that's changed recently. I'm sorry. That man's had so much surgery he can barely express anymore. So yeah,
yeah, kind of like Stallone as well. But yeah,
but Stallone melted.
So when the fourth one came out, the fourth Terminator with Christian Bale.
Oh God, Salvation.
Yeah, Salvation.
Sucks.
It sucks, sure. The ending is awful.
Yep.
Which doesn't help, but at least it tried to do something different.
I like different. I mean, one of my...
So like I was saying earlier, if you do something different, at least I can respect the attempt.
Yeah.
Even if I don't like the outcome.
I can understand. I mean, the one for me that always comes back for this is the teen horror movie where you're watching the same scenario play out in a whole bunch of different films.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of a film I wanted to mention during my best of list, and I completely forgot to do it, because it needs to be mentioned in case you haven't seen it. Have you seen a film called Green Room?
Yes, of course.
Oh,
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart as a neo-Nazi!
Yeah. It's great.
Love it. But yeah, no.
The movie was fine.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart as a neo-Nazi, great.
Awesome. Yeah, because I was at...
But yeah, sorry. Just to correct me earlier, I said when I was talking about doing something different that I can respect, I'd said the Ghostbusters. I didn't mean to do that.
No. Well, we're getting a new one.
The exact opposite. We're getting a new one.
That afterlife thing.
What I meant was Ghostbusters did the exact opposite, where it tried to do the same thing that the original did, but failed at it completely.
Yeah, whereas the new Ghostbusters looks like it's actually trying to be an episode of Stranger Things.
Yeah. I mean, at least it's technically something different. I don't know.
I'm not entirely sure I agree with
Everyone I know of that saw that trailer basically said they saw the episode of Stranger Things, the Halloween episode, and they're just okay, we're doing that. And Phil, what is his name? Finn Wolfhard?
Finn Wolfhard, yeah.
Awesome name, by the way.
He... and awesome guitarist.
I haven't heard of him.
Oh, that boy can play a mean guitar. It's kind of badass to see a kid who looks like that with that name play guitar. You're like, I wish I was that cool.
Pretty cool. But yeah, no, awesome name. That name, like, how do you not become famous with a name like that? Finn Wolfhard.
I wonder what his parents do, really. I really hope his dad is like an accountant.
They're hard wolves, obviously.
Apparently. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So, we are probably going to be changing our names, so...
I'm gonna become one of the Wolfhards.
Abdul Wolfhard?
No.
Imagine trying to get through airport security with that name.
Oof. Anyway,
you sound like a terrorist and a motorcycle gang member.
Oh god. Tough enough time already.
No, it's true. Actually,
but yeah. Tangent aside.
Tangent aside.
We gotta throw at least one of those.
We always have tangents aside.
So yeah. So I think Disney has sort of fallen into the path of mostly pointless remakes.
Yeah, I think so. They're just
which
trying
is
to make
why I
the
haven't
money.
seen most of them. Because again, like I said, like I don't need to see them. It doesn't really detract from the original because I still know that exists and I can appreciate that for what it is.
I mean, I catch occasionally because it's like it's a family movie that's on cinemas.
Yeah,
you
but
kind of know what you're getting.
Younger siblings.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the youngest.
Yeah, no, my sister's 12 years younger than me.
Yeah, so
that's
you have an excuse.
Well, not anymore, I don't, because she doesn't watch Disney anymore. She's 17, but
really,
yeah. Well,
my sister is 9 years older than me. She still loves Disney.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I think it's one of those things that goes and then comes back again.
Yeah, probably.
But
so
we recommend Mulan though.
Oh yeah,
2009.
2009. Hua Mulan or Mulan: Rise of a Warrior.
Rise of a Warrior?
I think it's Rise of a Warrior.
Don't check it. We will leave it in suspense.
Okay.
I see you reaching, and I'm like, no, we need to end this.
All right.
I need to make dinner.
Yeah, me too.
No, so we recommend the film, and we also recommend the crazy Russian singing
singer
thing.
Yeah, Vitas. He has the voice of an angel. That's a quote. That's from a journalist. Voice of an angel. Otherworldly. These are quotes.
You need to see the opening of this movie just to believe it, because you really are just kind of going like, I can't. This cannot be the right movie. This can't be it. Oh God.
Because the Ruan leader actually says he kept him for his voice.
Yeah, no, I would like to die hearing your voice or something like that. You're like, and I'm like, brother, I'm not entirely sure.
The thing is, journalists have honestly said these kinds of things.
I mean, he has an amazing voice. It's just an odd voice. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It's an unusual tone.
He's an unusual person.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he looks like the bad guy from The Crow.
Incredibly famous in Asia.
Yeah, good for him.
Like the same way, the Psy Gangnam Style guy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he has over 40 albums. He's, like, super, super popular.
Yeah.
In South Korea.
Yeah. I mean, so they're way more famous than we'll ever be.
Yeah, so Vitas, the same thing. He's pretty much, like, everyone in Asia knows this person.
Oh my goodness.
And he's super popular.
So we have now recommended a movie and a vocal artist. We're doing well today.
Yeah, we're doing well. He actually has a few good songs.
Oh, fair enough. I never heard of this man.
I saw the meme and I had to search it up.
Well, at least
we usually give a score. I'll give this. On. Yeah. You can think about it. I'll give it. So 5. We give it a score from 1 to 10, where 5 is average. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10.
I'm going to go 7.
So, because I think it's one of the few war epics that I would watch again. I don't usually watch a lot of war epics.
Yeah, and that's probably why I gave it a slightly lower score, because I am a war epic guy. I like those movies, and this movie has a lot of the good stuff, but it's
a little sappy.
It's a little sappy, and there's a lot of this cutting away from the war to get back to the sappy.
Yeah.
So I found myself a couple of times kind of like, can we just continue the battle scene, please? Because it was actually kind of cool.
Yeah, so 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's a strong recommend.
Definitely. It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
It's a good to great movie, is what it is.
Good to great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on your preferences.
And we here from the Good to Great podcast would like
Good to Great.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, if you want to get in touch with us, ask us questions, you can do so at sightonscreen@gmail.com or on our Patreon, patreon.com/sightonscreen,
all one word. We are always open to suggestions, comments, constructive criticism, and monetary endorsement. Yes. So feel free to give us all of those. And
any and all.
I mean, if you have some Chinese epic films or Chinese films in general that you feel that maybe we haven't seen, something that's gone under the radar, please feel free to recommend it. That is an area of cinema we're neither super familiar with.
Definitely send in recommendations.
So we would love to hear about that, and then one of us can, check those out, bite that bullet like we did this week, and then take it from there.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, catch you on the other side.